Hi guys, so today I have another Indian wedding card for you and I'll be using one of the craft angles dies for the same. However, I have tried to add my own twist and create a pop-up card scene for this particular card. Now I will show you my process. However, I will also link down the video below which kind of inspired me to make this card. So I start off with a piece of cardstock. This is 250 GSM craft angles colored cardstock in the red color, and I am die cutting it through the Ferra's die, and you can see how beautifully it cuts out the pieces. Now here I have die cut it twice, the same thing, because I wanted to keep multiple die cuts handy in case I need it in the card. I need more than one die cut in the card, so I kind of changed my mind a couple of times during this particular card making tutorial. So here I start off with a piece of cardstock. This is 4" by 11" cardstock, and we will score it in half along the 11" side. I'm going to make a vertical pop-up card, and this is going to be my inner piece which will create that wedding scene. So here I am just applying the placement of where my Dulha Dulhan die cut piece will go, and then here I am deciding where I am going to cut my paper, etc. So here you could have directly cut it with scissors, etc. I am using my Fisker tool, and you can see how I have created this kind of flap kind of a scene inside the paper. So you can see how it has been created. So basically it's just two vertical cuts that I have done, and then I have kind of folded it inwards. Again, I'll try to explain it to the best of my knowledge. However, in case you kind of don't understand what I'm trying to explain, you can definitely comment down below, and I'll also link the video by Jennifer which kind of inspired me to do this card, and she has explained it beautifully. So I've taken the same concept, but I have kind of twisted it around to make my own card. So here on the top half I am creating the wedding scene. So basically I want to create a dark sky to show that the wedding is kind of happening in the evening. So I start off with creating the sky first. Here I'm using Distress ink and Craft Angles ink blending brushes to kind of create the sky, and the colors that I'm using are all dark and moody. So for blue I'm using Chipped Sapphire, and on the corners I'll be using Black Soot, and then I'll apply them thoroughly. I'll saturate the paper and I'll kind of blend those colors. Now here, if it's not necessary that you need to create the same scene, you could have used paper cuts and created like a papered look. You could have also done watercolor if that is your preference. However, if you are doing watercolor or acrylic colors, use the paper corresponding to the medium that you are using. Since I was doing ink blending, I have used dual textured white because that is the cardstock I recommend for ink blending, and I'm using my ink blending brushes and Distress ink. You could have also used Distress Oxide or any other ink of your choice. So once I'm happy with how the ink blending is done, I will move on to now creating the scene. So for this particular scene, I wanted to create like floating diyas that you have on the mandap whenever you go for a wedding. Some have flowers, some have diya scenes, etc. So in this particular case I decided to create a floating diya scene, and here I am showing you the consistency of Craft Angles gold paste. You could see that it was clinging to the spatula and not falling down even through the gravity, and that is the kind of quality you want in a texture paste. So I am applying that through the stencil. Again, all the products that I talk about I use in my project, including the tools as well as the product. Everything will be linked below in the video for you all in case you are interested. So once I apply the gold texture paste, here you can see how beautifully the scene, the diya scene has come out. Now that our inner scene is ready, I'll start working on the outer card. And for the outer card, I'm using these ready-made notelets by Craft Angles. So I'm using the vertical fold because the card is a vertical scene card, and the inside scene also we have created a vertical scene as well, right? So for this I'll be using the notelet in vertical. You could use any GSM, honestly, 250, 300, 200 GSM, whatever works for you. So my idea was to create a gold layer on the front because I wanted to like create 1990s that board kind of a creation that you have, where you write the girl and groom's name. So, and you have that flashy Shubh Vivah written on it, or Band Baja Barat and things like that. So that was my idea. So what I start off with is I use the lace stencil and I pass the gold texture paste through the stencil, and this will kind of create the background for my card front to start with. Once I'm happy with how the layer has been applied, I'll remove the stencil and I will let this air dry. Uh, I'm letting this air dry because I have added quite a thick layer of paste on top of it. And whenever I add thick layer of paste, I normally like things to air dry. You could have also dried it with heat gun. So while this layer dries, we will work on the inside of the card. So we'll create the actual pop-up, we'll stick the die cuts, etc. So here is the inside of the card that has now dried up, the Diya scene. Now here you can see how I'm going to stick the character on top of the scene. So in the area which we have created that vertical fold, right, I'm just sticking my character on top of it in such a way that since the vertical folds are slightly smaller in width than the die cut, you can see nothing is seen except that certain white part between the fire of the mandap, and that created our pop-up mechanism. And now I am deciding on what should be the inside sentiment. For that I am using this Mr. and Mrs. stamp set by Craft Angles, and the sentiment says, to a very special bride and groom. So don't mind my head over here. I am actually trying to line up the sentiment in a straight line using my station, and that completes the inside. So now here you can see the whole 3D scene that we have created, and now all we are left with is creating the outside of the card. This is a slightly time consuming card as compared to your regular cards, simply because of the mechanism that it gives. However, the payoff that you get, the whole 3D creation of the scene, is definitely worth it. And especially with weddings, I feel the more bling you add, or the more fun elements that you add, it adds all the more fun to the card. Now here you can see that I have lined up the card in such a way that the horizontal fold meets both of the inside and the outside, and that will kind of make sure everything is together and lined up. Now on top of this golden part, I wanted to add Shubh Vivah die cut that we have created, and since that gold was very eye catchy and it had a lot of intricate patterns in it, if I would have directly stuck the red die cut on top of it, it would not have shown through very nicely. So just to mute that gold and pattern a bit down, what I'm doing is I'm creating a heart out of some vellum cardstock. This is Craft Angles vellum. I am using the thicker version, which is 180 GSM, and just to add a bit more blurred effect, you could say, and a whitish canvas for my die cuts to stand out even more. And then I am lining up the element on top of my heart, and I stick that with glue. And then just to add some dimension for the heart, I am adding some blue foam tape. Here you can see that I'm cutting the foam tape and I'm adding it behind the Shubh Vivah characters in such a way that that foam tape does not show through vellum, because at the end of the day vellum is a translucent paper, and if you add foam tape directly, it will show through. So that is why I'm kind of hiding the foam tape behind the red lettering. And now I will stick that on top of my heart in the center of the card, just eyeballing it, and that completes our pop-up card a very pretty card, one of my favorite. And there are a lot of ways in which you can create scene, no, it doesn't just have to be the one that I create. And I leave you with close up of all these cards. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, don't forget to like and comment, and do consider subscribing to my channel. I'll see you with a new tutorial in a couple of days. Till then, take care. Bye bye.